This is lesson 6.7, the distributive property. The distributive property says for all numbers a, b, and c, where a times b plus c in parentheses equals a times b plus a times c, and a times b minus c in parentheses equals a times b minus a times c. What it amounts to is you're going to take the number, for instance, on the numbers 8 times 10 plus 4 in parentheses, you're going to multiply 8 times both things inside there. So 8 times 10 plus 8 times 4 is going to give you 8 times 10 plus 8 times 4 equals, in this case, 80 plus 32, and add those two together. Also, 3 times 4 minus 2 in parentheses would be the same as 3 times 4 minus 3 times 2. So multiplying 3 times both things in the parentheses. So it says use a distributive property to write an equivalent expression. Check your answer. So on A, minus 4 times 5 plus 8 in parentheses. Starting here, multiply minus 4 times, or negative 4 times your 5 plus negative 4 times the 8. And that ends up with negative 20 plus negative 32. Signs are the same, so you add and keep the same sign. Gives you negative 52. You can check it again on the left side by going ahead and adding 5 and 8 and get 13. Negative 4 times 13 is negative 52, so it checks out. So distributive property just gives you another way to solve these type problems. On B, 4 times 50 minus 3. Again, 4 times 50 minus 4 times 3. So you end up with 200 minus 12, which is 188. If you check it from the left side, 50 minus 3 is 47. 4 times 47 is 188. Again, it just gives you like an easier way to multiply, where you don't have to multiply such big numbers also. Here on C, we're going to go the other way. 7 times 9 plus 7 times 5 is the same as 7 times 9 plus 5 in parentheses. So again, working out left and right side to make sure it checks. Left side, you've got 63 plus 35 gives you 98 here. 9 plus 5 is 14. 7 times 14 is also 98. So again, that's using distributive property going both directions. So we're going to use the distributive property to write an equivalent expression and then check the answer. So here you've got 6 times 1/7 plus 6 times 6/7. That's going to equal 6 times 1/7 plus 6/7 in parentheses. So work out both sides and make sure that it checks. Here on this side you get 6/7 plus, let's see, that's going to be, we're multiplying those two together, so it's 36 over 7. And here you got 1/7 plus 6/7 is 7/7 are just 1, so it's the same as 6 times 1. Here you end up with 42 over 7. And 6 times 1 is just 6. 42 divided by 7 is 6, so 6 does equal 6, so it does check out. Here you got negative 6 times 12 plus 3 in parentheses, same as negative 6 times 12 plus negative 6 times 3. I want to put that in parentheses also. It's a plus sign in between there. So let's see if they check. You got negative 6 times 15 here equals negative 6 times 12. 6 times 2 is 12. 1 times 6 is 6 plus 2 is 7. Negative 72 plus a negative 6 times 3, which is a negative 18. So on this side, multiply negative 6 times 15 is going to be negative. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 plus 3 is 9. Negative 72 plus negative 18 is also negative 90. So that checks out. We'll work this out down here. We have 8 times 12 minus 5 is going to equal 8 times 12 minus 8 times 5. So work out both sides. 12 minus 5 is 7 here, so 8 times 7. Here you've got 8 times 2 is 16. That's 96 minus 40. That's 56 on this side. 96 minus 40 is 56. So that checks also. So again, distributive property gives you another way to rewrite these to make them easier to work out. Okay. Here's a word type problem. It says lava lamps. You're buying 8 small lava lamps as door prizes for a disco party that your school is having. Each lava lamp costs $15.95. Use the distributive property to find the total cost of the lamps. So this is a little different way of using distributive property. You can split 15.95 up into two numbers that you can work a little bit easier with. So we know that 15.95, if you round it up to the nearest whole number, would be 16. 16.00. Now, but we know we'd have to subtract 0.05 to get 15.95. We can use these two numbers in the distributive property to find out what the answer is, and it'll be a little bit easier to multiply. So if we take 8 times 16 minus 0.05, which again, if you do subtract that, you get your 15.95. So we're going to split these two up and end up with 8 times 16 minus 8 times 0.05, which ends up being 128 minus 0.4, or 4/10, and that ends up being 127 6/10, or $127.60 in this case for the lava lamps. So again, this is another way to use distributive property. Make sure you follow this example because you're going to do some of these on your homework. Evaluating expressions. Evaluate the expression in two ways. All right, one way is we're going to reorder, make this 14 times 3 plus 14 times 7 minus 27. And we can just multiply it out like this is one way we could do it. So let's go ahead and do that. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 is 42 plus 7 times 4 is 28. Carry your 2. 7, 8, 98 minus 27. So here you've got 42 plus 98 is 140 minus 27, which is going to equal 10 minus 7 is 3, 13 minus 2 is 11, so 113. Now on this side you could go 14 times 3 plus 7 minus 27, and you end up with 14 times 10 minus 27, and end up with your 140 minus 27, which is going to equal 113. So there's, it worked out two different ways. Okay, and last, we're going to tell which property is being illustrated here. So back to our properties, negative 2 plus 19 equals 19 plus negative 2. All we did was change the order. Remember, that's the commutative property of, in this case, addition. Here you got 3/8 times 1/8 equals 1/8 times 3/8. Again, all we're doing is changing the order. So again, the commutative property of multiplication here. Okay, so this concludes our lesson on the distributive property.